This is the pinnacle of disaster movies. The film took the world by storm upon its release. Nearly 3 million people gave it an 8.6 out of 10. Because of its horrific plot and reflections on human nature. The film begins on a highway in South Korea. The driver of the truck accidentally hit something. He got out of his car and saw only a deer. The driver didn't care and just left. Soon after the driver left, the dead deer suddenly stood up again. The camera pans. Sok-woo is the manager of a securities company. He seems to be very capable, but he only cares about his career and not his family. He divorced his wife and raised his daughter Soo-ahn alone. The father's lack of concern makes his daughter increasingly disappointed. Eventually Soo-ahn decides to leave with her mother. The father and daughter board a train to Busan. While the conductor was doing a final check, a strange woman sneaked into the carriage. The veins in the woman's calves were completely black. She tightly strangled her thighs with her stockings, and she kept saying she was sorry, but the black blood soon filled her body. She trembled as she entered the railway carriage, but finally she collapsed on the ground. The woman's body began to convulse. At that moment, a steward found the woman. She immediately used the intercom to call for help. The next second, the mutated woman jumped on the stewardess and bit her wildly. The passengers were wide-eyed. Soon the stewardess stopped struggling. The woman was ready to attack other passengers again. Passengers became alert. The stewardess also began to twist her body. People were running away. Infected passengers began to bite each other. The male steward rushed to disperse the crowd and ran forward. Soo-ahn came out of the bathroom at the same time. She looked at the fleeing crowd with confusion. One of the mutants jumped directly at the stewardess. Sok-woo realized the danger. He grabbed his daughter and ran away immediately. The group of zombies also frantically looked for prey. Sok-woo managed to escape into a safe car. When he saw another couple running towards him, he hesitates and closes the door anyway. The pregnant woman was screaming for help at the door. Behind her husband was fending off the zombies. At that moment, the two men also finally pushed open the door and ducked into the carriage. Then the passengers put newspapers on the glass. The zombies lost their target and began to quiet down. The television was broadcasting the latest news. Riots are breaking out all over the country. The train was about to change its route and stop at Daejeon Station because it is safer to have a military guard there. The train is slowly pulling into Daejeon Station. It was very quiet here. There is no one at the station. All the passengers went to the gate from the passage. Sok-woo took his daughter the other way because he learned it from a friend that the station is not safe. Everyone who comes here is subject to mandatory quarantine. Other passengers were heading down the elevator, but ahead of them was a large group of infected soldiers. The soldiers howl and rush towards the crowd. Sang-hwa picks up his wife and puts her on the stairs, and those who were too late to escape turned into zombies. Sok-woo, who was about to ask for help, suddenly frowned because there was an infected soldier standing in front of him. The next moment, the zombie jumped directly at his daughter. Sang-hwa swung his elbow and managed to save the girl. After Sok-woo escaped into the safety of the hall, the passengers also managed to block the glass door, but there were too many zombies. The glass was about to shatter. Everyone had to run to the train again, but by now the train had already started. These two guys were unlucky. They were directly jumped by the zombies behind them. Luckily, Sang-hwa jumped on the train at the end. He rushed to call his wife. The bad news is his wife's group was in a car full of zombies. They had to hide in the toilet to escape because the family was in danger. The three men make a crazy decision. This strong man wants to defeat the zombies with his bare hands because he wants to rescue his pregnant wife, and his companion is also very strong. One by one, the zombies fall down, but the zombies were many of them. They were about to defeat these three. The man Sok-woo started to attack the ankles of the zombies. The strong man, Sang-hwa, then pushes the zombies down. The trio finally made it through to the next car. The boy in the baseball uniform was ready to attack, but all of them were infected students. Sang-hwa was confused and then attacked directly. He throws his fist at the zombies. Sok-woo also fights back with his shield, but both of them have no more strength. The train suddenly enters a tunnel. The zombie can see the target and starts to go quiet. Sok-woo knocked on the wooden board with his bat. The zombies were really attracted to the train. Fortunately, the three of them passed through the second car safely, but there were more and more zombies. Sang-hwa started to bend down to catch his breath, but Sok-woo came up with a good idea. The train was passing through the tunnel. They sneaked into the carriage. Then Sok-woo flung his cell phone out. After dialing the number, the phone suddenly rang. The zombies were successfully attracted to it. They were finally reunited with their loved ones. Sang-hwa touched his wife's head. Then they prepared to go to a safe place. After they observed the terrain, they prepared to climb over the luggage rack in the dark. Sok-woo threw a luggage bag to the back. The zombie ran directly towards the luggage. They carefully climbed down from the railway carriage, but the homeless man accidentally stepped off. The sound instantly attracts the attention of the zombies. As Sok-woo prepares to rescue him, The train passes through the tunnel. There was instant light around them. The two men had to crouch down. The zombies were slowly approaching, but the homeless man stepped on the can again. Sang-hwa immediately ran away. The zombies also chased after them frantically. Sang-hwa tried hard to close the door, but it was too late. The boy pounded on the door of the survivor's car, but no one answered. When the boy told his girlfriend that he was ready to come over, the man in the suit objected strongly because the few people walked through a car full of zombies. No one could guarantee that they were not infected. The passengers also locked the doors with cloth strips. The boy tried to call his girlfriend to open the door, but his girlfriend's phone was smashed. The girl's mouth was also covered. The people in the carriage listened to the cries for help but did not respond. In front of the disaster, the ugliness of human nature is also slowly revealed. They can walk through the carriage full of zombies, but they can't count humanity. Song-woo's arm was bitten by a zombie. Soo-ahn rushes over to help. The baseball boy is also frantically hitting the door. Finally, the glass shatters, but the man in the suit rushed straight to the door. He tried to close the door. Luckily, the boy used his arm to block the door, but the other two could not resist the attack. Sang-hwa turned back directly. Sang-hwa asks Soo-ahn to help take care of his wife. In the face of life and death, Soo-ahn seemed to understand something. He kept saying he was sorry. Glass shatters. Sang-hwa is desperately trying to hold back the walkers. He only hopes his pregnant wife will survive, but his eyes faded to white. Soo-ahn and his companions finally pushed open the door. Song-woo's wife and Soo-ahn were saved. Then Soo-ahn went to save the grandmother, but the zombies surrounded the grandmother directly. After the door closes, Soo-ahn knocked the man in the suit to the ground. He started to question the man in the suit. If the door had been opened earlier, they could have saved the lives of two people. The man in the suit didn't answer. He said Soo-ahn was infected. The passengers looked at them quietly. Then they were herded to the back carriage so that the door would not be opened. The passengers sealed the door with cloth again, but then at the other end of the carriage, an old grandmother slowly pushed open the door. Stop her. The zombie virus broke out. Fortunately, Song was helped. Soo-ahn led the crowd to safety for now. The train was about to reach Busan, but a train stopped ahead. The conductor had to tell the passengers to get off and change trains. The man in the suit and the attendant heard the announcement. When the zombies attacked just now, they hid in the toilet to avoid the attack. Now they had to change to another train. The man in the suit wanted to stay alive. He lied to the stewards that it was safe outside. When the stewardess peeks out to check, the man in the suit pushes the attendant out and he ran straight away, but the zombie soon caught up with him. The man in the suit accidentally broke his foot and fell to the ground. At this time, the kind train attendant came to the rescue. Unexpectedly, the man in the suit pushed the conductor towards the zombie again. Soo-ahn was covering his companion's escape, but a burning locomotive came this way. They were pinned directly under the board. Above them are the zombies blocked by glass. The plank is about to fall down. Soo-ahn finally finds an escape hole. He was about to turn around to rescue the others when the glass on the board shattered violently. A large number of zombies rushed out. At the critical moment, the homeless man fights off the attack. He chose to let the pregnant woman and the child leave. The trio ran towards the slow-moving train. Soo-ahn struggled to get them onto the train, but the zombies were coming behind them. There are more and more zombies. The train might be stopped by the zombies. Soo-ahn pulled on the rail. Then he kicked the zombies' hand down like crazy. Finally, the zombies were cleared away. The three of them thought the danger was over. Then Soo-ahn walked to the pilot news. He found the man in the suit who was mutating. Soo-ahn backed up slowly. The man in the suit jumped on him. The pregnant woman was ready to help, but her strength is too small. Soo-ahn immediately gets up. He covered the man and the suit's mouth with his hand, but Soo-ahn was unfortunately bitten. Soo-ahn started to cry out. Soo-ahn wrapped the chain tightly around himself and he threw the man in the suit out with force. He looked at his injured hand. He knew he was about to mutate, so they immediately took the two men to the pilot news. Soo-ahn instructed his daughter to follow the ant. The little girl then burst into tears. The next moment, he pushed his daughter away. Then he rushed out of the pilot news and closed the door. The daughter cried out, but Soo-ahn didn't turn around because he couldn't let go of his daughter. He walked straight to the back of the car. Then he couldn't hold back his tears because he felt guilty for his daughter. Luckily, he managed to protect his daughter. Sok-woo's consciousness slowly began to blur. His eyes gradually filled with white. Soo-ahn thought of his daughter as a newborn. Finally, he jumped off the train with a smile on his face. The train finally arrives in Busan. The woman slowly walks into the tunnel with Soo-ahn. The army thought it was a zombie attack. They were about to give the order to shoot. Suddenly, a child's song comes from the tunnel. The film ends with two men being rescued. Two men who gave their lives to protect their loved ones. The kindness and humanity in the face of disaster. I think this is the real moving point of the film.